We all ask ourselves sometimes, maybe more often than we admit, what's my reason for being? What really gets me up in the morning? Today, we're diving into Ikigai, that Japanese idea. But maybe it's more than just purpose. Maybe it's a key to staying, well, young while getting older. We're going beyond the surface level, looking at research, especially from Okinawa, island, with some of the longest living people on Earth. Our mission here is to pull out some real practical wisdom about longevity and purpose you might actually use.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that this reason for being, or raison d'etre, as you might say in French, it isn't just some abstract thought. Our sources show Ikigai is deeply embodied. It affects your daily life, your health, in ways we often miss in the West. It's there, deep inside everyone, apparently. But finding it takes patience. And as we'll see, finding it brings satisfaction, happiness, meaning, and surprisingly, maybe even a longer life.
Okay, so let's start with something that really jumped out at me from the research on Japan. This whole idea of retirement. Stopping work, playing golf, moving south, that specific concept. It doesn't really map neatly onto Japanese culture. There isn't even a direct word for it.
Exactly.
Many people there just don't retire in that way. It feels so different from our perspective. What's that about?
Well, it suggests that purpose isn't seen as something you just switch off. Dan Buettner, who's done so much work on these longevity areas, he really highlights this. Having a purpose is so fundamental that our Western idea of just stopping doesn't compute in the same way. The norm, if you're healthy enough, is to keep doing what you love, what gives you value. It's continuous.
It's like an unbroken thread then. Activity, identity, living, all woven together. And the word itself, Ikigai. I found the breakdown of the second part, guy. Really fascinating. It seems much deeper than just worthwhile. Can you unpack that a bit?
Oh, absolutely. So Ikigai is written ikigu is life, that's pretty clear. But gei, meaning to be worthwhile, gets really interesting when you break it down further. The character can mean armor, or number one, even to be first, like taking initiative, leading the charge into battle. And adi means beautiful or elegant. So you put them together, and it's not just passive purpose. It suggests this beautiful, elegant drive, something that pushes you forward, like leading the way, almost like taking bold steps.
Armor and leading the charge, that really pushes against just a calm, serene feeling. It feels more active, more dynamic. Does that dynamic aspect, maybe that leading the charge part, ever create pressure? Like the kind of stress we associate with always needing to do something?
That's a great question. The sources don't really frame it as negative stress. It seems more about fulfilling a sense of commitment, dedication. The armor might be more about resilience while pursuing your passion, not fighting something external. And this driving force, this Ikigai, it connects directly to something else remarkable, the health of people in Okinawa.
Right. Okinawa is almost legendary for longevity, isn't it? The highest concentration of centenarians anywhere. And it's one of Dan Buettner's blue zones, these spots where people live exceptionally long and healthy lives. What do the actual medical studies tell us about Okinawans who live past 100?
The findings are pretty striking. It's not just about lifespan. They have significantly fewer chronic diseases. Cancer, heart issues, inflammatory conditions are much rarer. Their vitality is often, remarkable for their age. Blood tests even show fewer free radicals.
Fewer free radicals, so less cellular aging.
Exactly.
Which the research links partly to their diet, drinking specific teas, things like that.
Yeah.
Also, women tend to have more moderate menopause symptoms. Both men and women maintain higher levels of sexual hormones later in life. And maybe most importantly, dementia rates are way, way below the global average.
Wow.
And the sources really draw a line connecting this incredible physical health back to Ikigai. That sense of purpose, day in and day out, seems to fuel their bodies, keep them healthier.
It's incredible. Purpose is a biological driver, affecting everything down to your cells and hormones. Okay, so Okinawa is one blue zone. Where else did Buettner identify? There were 5 main ones mentioned in our sources, right? First, Okinawa, Japan, especially the north. Lots of veggies, tofu, small plates that Ikigai and Moai will talk about. Second, Sardinia, Italy-specific provinces, Nuoro and Ogliastra. Again, vegetables, maybe a glass or two of wine, strong community. Third was Loma Linda, California. A group of Seventh-day Adventists there live exceptionally long for Americans. Fourth, the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. People there are incredibly active, even in their 90s, working fields at 5:30 a.m. And fifth, Icaria, Greece, the island of long life, where apparently 1 in 3 people makes it past 90, a lifestyle going back centuries.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? 3 of those 5 are islands.
I didn't clock that immediately.
On islands, resources can be limited sometimes. That often forces communities to rely on each other more, building strong support networks. And for many people in these zones, helping others, being part of that community network, that becomes their Ikigai.
Ah, that makes sense.
So when scientists looked at all these blue zones, they saw common threads. It wasn't just one thing, it's an integrated lifestyle, really. Diet matters, yes. Exercise, definitely. But also this strong sense of purpose, the Ikigai factor, and really robust social connections. Family, friends, community. They also manage stress well, eat very little meat or processed food, and alcohol is usually moderate, if at all.
And the exercise part, it's not marathon running, is it? It's more like constant, gentle movement baked into daily life.
Exactly. Lots of walking instead of driving. Gardening is huge in almost all these places, just natural, low-intensity movement throughout the day.
Okay, so purpose and community are vital. How does that translate into daily habits? Let's talk about food. That Okinawan 80% secret, harahachibu.
Yes, fill your belly to 80%.
What does that actually mean in practice?
Yeah.
How do you know when you're at 80%?
Well, you don't measure it precisely, obviously. The idea is to stop eating when you start to feel full. Not when you're stuffed,
Right, not when you feel like you need to loosen your belt.
Exactly. The sources explain that constantly eating until you're completely full puts a strain on your body. Long digestion, more cellular oxidation, it wears you down over time. So the lesson is, stop when you're not hungry anymore. Don't push for that extra serving or the dessert you don't really need just because it's there.
That feels difficult, but probably very wise. And it connects to how food is served too, right? The small plates in Japan?
Yes, that's a factor too. Lots of little dishes can make it look like a huge amount of food.
Psychologically, yeah.
But the total quantity might be less. You might finish feeling just slightly hungry still. It's one reason Westerners often lose weight in Japan.
And there's data backing this up, isn't there? On calories and BMI?
Oh, absolutely. Nutrition studies show Okinawans average around 1,800 to 1,900 calories a day. Compare that to the US, which is often 2,200 up to 3,300 or even more. And their body mass index, BMI, is typically between 18 and 22. In the US, it's often 26, 27 or higher.
That's a huge difference.
Their diet helps too, of course. Lots of tofu, sweet potatoes, fish maybe 3 times a week, tons of vegetables, like 11 ounces a day.
Wow. Okay, so diet, mindful eating. What about the community piece in practice? You mentioned the moai in Okinawa.
Right, the moai. It's essentially an informal support group, people with shared interests who genuinely look out for each other.
Like a built-in social safety net.
That's a great way to put it. It started way back, apparently, in tough times. Farmers getting together to share techniques, help each other through bad harvests. Nowadays, members usually contribute a fixed amount each month. They use it for group things, dinners, meetings, maybe playing games together. But here's the key part. If there's money left over, one member they rotate whose turn it is gets a payout from that surplus.
So it's financial support too.
Yes, emotional and financial stability. If someone hits a rough patch, they can even get an advance from the group's savings. That sense of belonging, knowing people have your back, it's incredibly powerful. The sources suggest it measurably boosts security and even life expectancy. It's community in action.
So wrapping this up, it seems like finding your Ikigai, building strong community like a moai, eating mindfully with that 80% rule, and just moving naturally every day. These aren't separate tricks. They're all interwoven in practical ways people in the blue zones live longer, more fulfilling lives.
Exactly. What's so compelling is how interconnected it all is. It's not one magic bullet. It's a whole lifestyle. Purpose, connection, mindfulness, they feed into each other, creating this virtuous cycle for well-being, health and happiness together. It's like a balanced ecosystem for living well.
So here's something to think about with this focus on purpose, on staying engaged. What if you adopted that never truly retire mindset? Not necessarily about work, but about focusing on what gives you meaning, staying active.